Hi, my name is Yashashvi, and today we are looking at a problem in which there is a requirement to, let's say, handle CPU intensive tasks in Node.js. Now, we have been uh, taught that we shouldn't use Node.js for CPU intensive tasks, but in case we want to have or there is no other way, how do we handle it? Now, in order to do this, we need to understand the architecture of Node.js a little bit better. Right. So first thing and foremost, we have our Node.js, which runs on a single thread. That is all that we know right now. Right. However, Node.js also can invoke other process as well as is also has a access to thread pools. Now, what is thread pool? When we were saying that Node.js itself, okay, Node.js itself is running on a single thread, meaning there is one thread on which Node.js runs itself, so to say. Okay. Now this particular Node.js process, okay, has a multitude of thread pools, meaning there are multiple small thread which Node.js itself can delegate tasks to. Okay. So that is what one way we can do of handling CPU intensive task, meaning what we can do, we can have whenever we get some sort of a CPU intensive task, what we can do, we can offload that task to the separate threads, different threads from our thread pool. Okay, the number of threads are variable depending on the processor itself. Okay, so this can be 16, 12, 13, whatever it is. Okay, so this main Node.js thread, okay, on which the Node.js itself is running, will offload certain CPU intensive tasks to these small threads. Now, these threads, when they are done with that particular task, will then notify the main thread or the main Node.js thread, which will then send that result back to the client or whoever requested it. Okay, this is one way. Another way is Node.js can also spawn another Node.js process itself. Meaning, let's say let's say we have another or a main Node.js process running in its own single thread. Okay, this is our main Node.js application. Right now, when we what did I say? That Node.js itself can also spawn another Node.js process itself. Okay, so in this case, what Node.js can do, it can run another JavaScript program or a JavaScript file, which will be another Node.js. Let me change the color itself. That will be another Node.js program itself. Okay, Node.js program itself, which again will have its own main thread and also single or also thread pools. Right. Similarly, this main process also will have its own thread pools. Okay. So first case, in this case, what we were doing is we have one Node.js process, okay, which was running in a single thread. Okay, what that thread could do is offloading or delegate tasks to a different thread itself. Okay, we are not creating another process, however we are just delegating certain small bits of tasks to a different thread. Okay, and the Node.js itself keeps on running wherever it needs to and however it needs to continue. Right. Second approach here is, rather than providing or giving the task to the thread pool or to a different smaller thread, what we are doing, we are creating a different Node.js process itself. Okay, so from my main process, we are creating a child process. That child process is going to handle the main or the CPU intensive task. Now, all of these have their own benefits and minuses, plus and minuses. However, the first approach is the one which is much more appreciated, meaning here the resources utilization is a little bit less. Okay, because remember, here in this particular approach, we are only having threads which are talking to each other sort of way. right? However, in this one, when we are creating a child process, that means we are allocating a huge amount of memory to that process, as well as, remember, V8 engine on which the JavaScript is built upon, so to say, or the engine which powers Node.js itself, we'll be having two copies of it. Matlab, this particular Node.js process will have its own instance of V8 engine running inside it. This process, or this Node.js process, will have its own V8 engine process or V8 engine instance running in it to handle the JavaScript task, right? However, in this case, we only have one V8 engine or one instance of V8 engine, which basically is delegating tasks to different smaller threads. Okay, fine. Another way to understand is, let's say that this process is handling millions of requests per second, so to say. So we'll be having millions of small threads. However, if this was the case, if this particular process, the main process, is receiving millions of requests per second, and we have written our code which will create a child process for all those millions of requests, then we will be having millions of child process, right? And all those child process will have its own V8 instance that will take up a lot of memory, right? When we compare it with the first approach. Okay, I hope that is more or less clear how Node.js would be working. Okay, now let's try to understand it, this scenario, in using a code sample or something like that. Okay, we'll be trying to use the first approach earlier, and then we'll look into if we can use the second approach. Okay, both of them works in a similar manner. It's just that we need to communicate in a certain way. However, since this is a better approach, there are packages third party packages called worker pool or other packages which handle that task better. You can do that without the pool, without using the third party package as well, but you'll have to write a lot of code. Okay, let's see. So let's say this is a bare minimum basic express application. Okay, this application has one route called ABC and one route called XYZ. Okay, ABC route just sends the count as 100, as you can see here, and this XYZ sends hello world, bare minimum. Okay, let's just start the process. Let me just restart or start the server using NodeMon itself, right? So our server is listening on port number 3000, I guess. Yeah, right. So let's say, let me open up to URL because we'll be demonstrating that very soon. Localhost 3000 / XYZ. If I hit the get route, I will get hello world expected. Same way here, if I put in, instead of ABC, sorry, instead of XYZ, if I put it ABC, we'll get a JSON response saying count is 100. Very simple stuff, right? Now let's try to make this route CPU intensive, right? What do we mean by CPU intensive? Any sort of operation, okay? Any sort of operation which does not consider input output operations, that is probably going to be a CPU intensive task. Meaning, if you have a task which Node.js main thread can handle itself, or Node.js itself can handle it, that is going to be your synchronous task generally. Okay, or the other way, the other part, which is the non-CPU intensive task, that is generally going to be something which Node.js cannot handle it on itself. Rather, it will be getting data from third party or third or external dependencies. Meaning, getting the data from database is a non-CPU intensive task, and it is an IO operation, meaning it's getting the output from the database. Node.js itself is not trying to find the output or not trying to find the data in the database, any respective document also, right? That is the task of database engine itself, right? Node.js is just offloading it or telling the database server that I need this particular output. That's it, right? However, if we write a for loop, okay, a for loop which calculates, let's say, a sum, that is going to be a task which is going to be handled by Node.js itself, because there we won't be requiring any third-party dependency or external dependency much, for clarity's sake. That for loop itself or calculating the sum itself is a task which Node.js can do it on itself. It doesn't need any database or a third-party API, right? So those tasks generally are synchronous tasks, which ultimately, if you don't write the code properly, will become a CPU intensive task, right? So console logged plus console log some addition operation, uh, let's say uh, downloading an image and all, or processing an image rather, that will be CPU intensive. Okay, unless of course you offload it to a different thread or something, right? Okay, let's come back here. So we have our ABC route and we have our XYZ route. Both are working pretty good. What we'll do now is try to make this particular ABC route CPU intensive, which will make our application or the server block, meaning we'll write the code which will block the main thread or the main process hour of our Node.js application, right? So if we look here in the task.js, you can see this is a function, okay, which basically does nothing but runs a for loop for 5 bajillion times or whatever, right? It's a very long loop, right? It has a loop limit of around 5 bajillion or whatever, and it's gonna be running for a lot of time, right? What we'll be expecting is that the moment this particular route gets hit ABC, we will invoke this heavy task, okay, this heavy task function that will block our main thread, okay, because notice here this is just a for loop and it's not getting a data or anything from an external file or an external database or an external API. This is all going to happen by the main thread itself of Node.js, right? Let's try this. So what we'll do, we'll just import our task from task.js. Right? So what we will do here, instead of count hard coded as 100, we'll say, notice here, we'll return a count, no? So what we can say here is, instead of this, what you do task dot heavy task, right? We'll call this function. Okay, notice I'm not providing any function or any parameter to the heavy task right now, because it automatically has a default value of 5 bajillion, so to say. Fine. Now what I'm expecting is to get the result, right? Notice here I also have a console.log statement for every iteration, so to say, right? And what we will be experiencing now is, because of this particular line of code which will be blocking our main thread, Node.js will not be able to handle the second request to XYZ. Okay, let's just see that. Server is already running, right? Let me open up the other one also. So this is XYZ, right? Let me open this up in another tab right now, just to show you that this is working right as is, right? No issues as per now, because that ABC route is not hit yet. We have not hit the ABC route yet. So it is returning me the result properly with good enough speed, right? Let's just keep it here. Okay, I'm not going to press enter right now. I've just put in here. Okay, now let me open this same thing here, otherwise we'll be confusing that we have not received anything. Okay, right? So ABC and XYZ is written here. The moment I hit ABC, right, I'm pressing enter now, you'll notice this is keep on rotating, right? It's keep on waiting for the data to be fetched, right? And if we see here, our this particular thing, console log statement count, is what that count is executing, right? 55,000, 59, 60,000. So it's going to take a lot of time. During that time, if you see, we are not able to get any result from ABC because it's still in the process, right? If we try to call the XYZ route also, we should be getting hello world. But if you notice, we are not, right? It's still reloading or it's still trying to get that particular result. Why? Because our code is written in such a way that our code is synchronous in such a way that the moment a single request came to ABC, Node.js main thread itself started computing the loop or started computing the count value depending on the value given here. So it's still running, right? It's still running and still keep on running it. So since my main thread is still executing this for loop, it doesn't have the time to actually handle this particular request. Okay, even though XYZ is totally isolated to a different route itself, right? However, the moment this particular route is held, Node.js main process is not able to handle it because it is busy doing this particular operation, heavy task function, right? It's still being doing, still keep on doing that. Okay, unless and until this particular task is over, my Node.js will not be able to handle the incoming request to the other routes. That is what blocking of the main thread means in our Node.js. Okay, that is why we are always saying you never write anything very CPU intensive or very long sort of a code which will which will take a lot of time executing in our main thread itself. Okay, what we will do now is basically offload this computation or offload this particular loop iteration to a different thread itself. That will be the first chart. Okay, because that is the most preferred way and that is the most simplistic way also right now, right? We have reached around 500, 700,000 or so. Okay, let me close this up. Let me close the request from here also. Otherwise, the browser will keep on executing it. Right. Okay. Fine. Let me put this just for the sake of here. Right. Let me restart the server. Server app is listening, and if I hit XYZ right now, it should give me the result because ABC is not hit yet. So my main thread is not blocked as of yet. Okay, fine. Let's kill this. Otherwise, browser will try to automatically hit our ABC request again and again. So we don't want that right now. Okay, first thing first, we need to offload this heavy task some way, right, to a different thread or something, right? So there is a very simplistic package already available. Let me open up this worker pool. This is basically your package, which will allow you to implement this pattern, offloading your task to a separate thread from the thread pool. Okay, this is your thread pool. Okay, this pool is basically having multiples of small threads which Node.js can utilize as per our convenience. Okay, if you see here, it's just a matter of requiring it, instantiating it, and then offloading that task to the pool itself. Okay, let's just try that. Let me see if I have already imported. Yes, I already have installed it. Okay, so basically here what we'll do, we'll say const worker, let's say pool is equal to require worker pool. Fine. We need to instantiate it as per the documentation. If you see here, we need to instantiate the pool of our Node.js application. So I can just say pool is equal to worker pool dot pool. Okay, right. So this will give me let's say it'll man this particular package itself will manage all the creation of different or multitudes of threads based on how we want to achieve or whatever. All we need to do is just delegate that task using this package to that particular thread pool. Okay, so what we'll do here is basically say, we'll say pool dot, if you see here, multiple of functions. The function we are going to use is the exec, which means execute. Okay, this will basically take the reference of a function. Okay, so our function is what? Task dot heavy task, right? Task dot heavy task. So I can just say task dot heavy task. Notice I'm not putting this function call here, right? I'm just passing the function reference. Okay, this will keep on executing. Okay, and when that particular this thing is returned, then only our res.json should work, right? So in order to do that, again, this is an asynchronous operation. So what this exec function returns us is a promise. So either you can save it here in a, let's say exec promise and handle it as per the promise standard, whatever is, you feel right. Meaning either you can also put in dot then here, right? And then handle the result or whatever, or best way is put this async here, right? Async function, which means I can use const await is equal to pool.execute, right? So basically pool.execute will execute my task.heavy task function, right? Heavy task function. And then let me put this here actually, obviously, right? It'll run that task, or and then when anything is returned from this function, which is our count here, will be then get saved into this particular variable, and that we can send it here, right? So let's start the server again. Let's go back to our XYZ and our ABC route, right? So if I hit enter, you can see XYZ is loading properly. Okay, let me hit the ABC route now. I hit the ABC route. Now, of course, that route needs a lot of time to execute, right? Not a problem. Take its time. However, when I call the XYZ route now, I am able to get the hello world right now. Correct? That means my main thread is unblocked, meaning this process, okay, this console.log, or sorry, this heavy task function is being run in a different thread itself, okay, from a thread pool. That is why our ABC is being, it's this route is still being processed, okay, and by my main thread is unblocked, meaning, let me open up that, yeah, this one. So the moment ABC wala request came, Node.js main thread just delegated that particular task to a simple or a small thread from the thread pool, and then was able to, or was free now, so it was able to handle the XYZ route also, right? That is why even my ABC route is going to be processing. We have some error here because there's so much, the loop iteration I gave so much that it's not able to handle, right? Is not able to allocate that much amount of memory, right? So let's see how we can, make it a little bit more realistic. Let's say you have a function, right? You want to also pass some argument, so to say, to that particular function, because obviously there can be cases like that, right? So what you do know in this particular function, exec function of our worker pool, you can just put a comma, and then inside an array, you can define n number of arguments which will be passed to the function that you have said key execute, right? So notice if we go here, loop limit by default is 5,000, right? By default is not 5,000, 5 billion, gazillion, whatever it is, right? So what we'll do here, Instead of using that number, I can just say, let's say, 10,000, which is a very uh, small number comparatively. Let's increase this to, let's say, this much. Hopefully it should be enough. Okay, enough to actually process that. Okay, which is it's doing. Let me just open up another tab and then close this, because my browser is automatically hitting that route. Okay, fine. Okay, so my server is now running. This number is being passed on to the task function instead of this number, obviously. Okay, and then that number will be going to be used, and accordingly we should get the result comparatively earlier. Right, we are just trying to mock a heavy task, right? So if I say XYZ, yes, that is working fine. Let me put ABC. It's gonna take some time. Okay, so this returned this much. That means the loop is way too short. Actually, it's still running right behind the scenes. Or I think that this is a wrong one actually. Yeah, let me restart it. Actually, the number it returned and it was fired because of something else. Let me give something a little bit larger too. Let's say this much, so it's more or less handleable. Right, refresh. It's taking its time, but my XYZ is returning instantly almost. Right, that is not giving me any issue. Right, however, ABC is still being processed. Right, so this was the way in which you can offload certain tasks or certain functions to a different thread itself. Okay, using this worker pool itself. Now, is it the only way to use the worker pool? Of course not. There are multiple ways, of course. Okay, this was the most basic way. Okay, however, you can also create dedicated workers, meaning a dedicated worker thread for a specific file or for a specific function itself. You can see here in my worker.js file, we have a my worker or whatever file you have. In that, you have one heavy task. Okay, highly computative task or function, whatever it is. Right. However, here, instead of, when the request comes, then you offload to a certain thread. Here, we have already notifying our worker pool that there has to be a specific worker thread only associated with this particular function. Okay, a dedicated worker for calculating our Fibonacci sequence or whatever. Right, so in our main app.js or our main index.js, where you have defined multiple routes, what you can do, you can just execute pool.execute Fibonacci and pass in the number. Notice here we are passing the Fibonacci as text. My pool automatically knows about which task to be running because I have already defined it here. Okay, so this is how you can sort of offload certain tasks to a different thread itself. Okay, now second approach in which you are trying to create a child process itself. Okay, let me stop this thread, otherwise it'll keep on going. Right, so in this case, what we want to do is create a child process itself. Right, so the way we do it is a little bit different. Okay, we'll be using child process package, which comes pre-installed with Node.js itself. Okay, all right, so first what we'll do is, let's say we can import our child process package. Right, from that child process, I want the fork function. Okay, this fork function will basically allow me to spawn a child process. Okay, right, now what we'll have to do is we'll go back to our, let's say, this particular task, and here what we'll have to write is and we'll have to remove this instead of exporting, because this is going to be a different process itself. What I'll have to do it, I'll have to write it in such a way that it is going to be executed as, let's say, node task.js. Okay, so this will be, let's say, a function heavy task, right, which is this. Okay, so this is the function, right? Now what we will do here is say process dot on, and there is a specific event called message event, which will basically allow me to receive IPC. IPC stands for inter-process communication, right? So what will happen, or what I'll try to do, is basically create a child process out of task.js, meaning my main thread or my main Node.js application will try to do something like node, let's say task.js. Okay, and then internally it will execute and then return me the value. Of course, this is an oversimplification. Okay, this part is an oversimplification, but you'll see. So what we need to do here is on message, on receiving a particular message. Okay, message event on the process. Which process? The process which is going to be executed for task.js. Okay, what you need to do is on receiving a particular message, and that will be an object of any sort. Okay, that we can, will be, let's say, in our case it will be, let's say, this particular loop limit, right? So let's say that is XYZ, or let's say number, that is better, right? So I'll receive some sort of a number. Okay, and then I'll call the heavy task with that particular number. All right, once I am done with that, this will return a result to me. Let's say const result or count, whatever you want to say, right? After running this entire function, I'll receive some result, some number. That number I can again say process dot send the result. Okay, as simple as that. This part is done. Now what we'll have to do here is, let me comment this out. What we'll have to do here is, we'll first have to get that particular what do you call, the reference of that file, right? How we do it in the require similar way. So what we'll say, we'll just say const, let's say worker, or let's say offload, whatever, right? Or we can say child, that is also better, right? So const child is equal to fork, and here we give the path to that particular file. Instead of work, it will be task, actually task.js, right? So basically it's trying to create, or basically this particular function will run node task.js basically. Okay, it will create a process out of it, right? Now what we'll do here, we'll be defining an event on this child process itself here. Okay, so I can say child dot on message. Remember, this message is a fixed message event which comes predefined with Node.js child process as well as event emitters as well, right? So inter-process communication is what being used here, right? It accepts a callback function. Okay, in this, what we'll do, we'll basically say, or what we'll get from here is the actual result which we send it from our task.js. Okay, we are sending that result from our process in here. That will give me the output in my main process here. Okay, this will be our result. You can call it whatever, but it will be a number. Let's say this is count. whatever, right? I can now here say res.json, or I can just copy this actually. Res.json, the count, and then we can kill our child, meaning I can terminate our child process. Okay, that will be a different Node.js process itself. So rather than making it keep on running, I can kill that particular process, right? Now, here, what we have done is we have written code for receiving the output from task.js, but we have not defined, or we have not said anything about sending a particular argument or sending a particular number to our child process. So I can say child dot send some number, let's say 25. So this 25 will go as an argument here, okay, as an argument here, which will in turn call my heavy task function with that particular number here. That means our loop will run for 25 times, out of which we'll get the result. And then this child process, or the process which is responsible for running task.js, will send that result to my parent process, which in turn is listening on this event, right? Message event. So that will give me the count or the result here. And then I send that route or send that output using my response object from Express, and then kill the process, right? Now this you can do it on top also, because it's asynchronous, so it doesn't make any difference here. Okay, let's try this out again. Node, or I can just say node1 index.js, right? Server app listening. Let's test our XYZ route. Yes, it's running fine, not a problem. Our ABC route, remember that is for 25, right? 25. I have hard coded 25 here. So if we run our ABC route here, I get an error actually. 1 second. I messed up somewhere. Task.js. I think I misspelled it. I think it should just be task. Let's try. Am I getting that same error? Yes. Okay. Okay. I might have done some typo somewhere. 1 second. Right. So I've basically messed up here. We don't have task, we have tasks.js, right? So basically task.js or simply tasks. That will fix our issue. So we have our app listening, right? Now, if we test out here, ABC, as you can see, it automatically created that request for me. But let me show you again here itself. ABC, it's giving me 25. And you can see here, it ran for 25 times also, right? So if I, let's say, want to give some, let's say we want to make it 1,000, 5,000, whatever. That I think we can use it as a query parameter also. For now, I can just hard code it. Let's say 5,000 or 500,000, whatever, right? So this is as is. Our XYZ is also here. If I hit enter, no issues here. Let me hit ABC. Okay, so it's running. That process is running. And as well as my hello world or XY route is also functional, right? So this is happening in a different process, this computation. Okay. However, my server is still running in the main process and it's all working properly, right? So notice here, what we did was we offloaded our task to a different child process itself, right? The moment we call this particular function, we just gave here the path to that particular file, and that file will basically execute like, node task.js. Okay. That processes reference we get here. Okay, it's still running, right? However, my of course XYZ is working as perfectly as possible, right? Let me close this, right? So just to refresh again, we created a child process here from our task.js, and then we are listening, or we attach an event listener on that child process for message event. Okay, if your event is not clear in Node.js, then it will be a little bit difficult to understand. However, just bear with me. Basically, there is a specific event called message, which you can attach on Node.js processes. Okay, so here the child is referring to the child process we created using tasks or using fork, right? And we provided our file name there. That created a child process, and we attached a message event listener to that particular child. So whenever that particular child will emit, okay, will emit a message event, we will be getting this. Okay, how are we emitting that event? Using the send function here. We can also use emit also. In our case, emit also will work fine. However, there we'll have to specify the event name also, but that is for a different case actually. Anyway, okay, so on triggering of the message event from the child process, I am sending the result. Okay, and then I'm killing that child process also. That is what I am doing. Okay, now this is the event attachment, so this is asynchronous obviously. Okay, so this event, when it will be triggered, then only this function will execute. Okay, now here is what basically I'm sending a particular argument or a particular number to my child process. Okay, this number is what I'm trying to imitate or pass as an argument to my heavy task function, right? So when I call the child.send method, okay, and then pass in this number, basically the child process, in the child process also we have attached an event listener for message, right? The moment for this child process someone calls the, or someone triggers the message event for this child process, then we just accept that particular value, whatever was passed in that function, right? So if we, let's say, had another parameter here, let's say whatever 645, I could easily access that just putting another variable name here, right? And I can do that whatever, no, however way I want, right? So when the parent sends certain information to the child process, that child process receives that argument or data or whatever in this particular function. Okay, and then that particular function calls our heavy task, and once that result is calculated, this process then sends a result back. Now whoever or whatever or how many numbers of processes or main processes are attached to that child process using this, all will receive that particular message. In our case, we have just attached only one process to it, right? It might get a little difficult to understand if your understanding about events and event emitters and if Node.js architecture is not properly clear. Okay, however, in any case, the pattern is very, very simple, right? We are just offloading our task to a different Node.js process or to a different thread. The recommended way is to use a separate thread that is much more memory optimized. Okay, I would also recommend you to go through some of the articles which you can find on Google. That will give you a little bit more understanding about the architecture itself.